We'll walk into the woods to see cicada land. Running water. Running water here at the entrance to the wood. Last night we must have had a pleasant amount of continuous thunderstorms that I did not hear at all. Here at noon on Sunday the 16th, lots of water still here, and even some is still running. So that was a good amount of rain. Garbage. Plenty of it carried here from Desavala Road. This is the Rocky Point recharge zone at the end of brief rainstorms. It has been hot and dry for several weeks. Yesterday and last night we had some rain. This is the standing water that's passing now into the woods. It has dragged so much garbage, and each time it does, so all of the garbage is just dragged into all of this property, which is owned by various owners, as they are the slips of land that are attached to larger lots lying on all sides as this winds its way to the Leon Creek waterway. Today's a good day to show and talk about what it is that I am proposing we do in this area, because the water is here and in some cases still moving, so we can see what happens when the flash flooding happens, or when there are regular days of rain, as in April. It is certainly now a drier year than the previous two. 2017 water is much more cherished on July 16th. They're not happy I'm here. Come to a near stop here. There may be some flow to take it into the two pools. If it made it to the two pools in the back, that was a significant rain. Lots of tracks in the mud of various creatures who have come to take water this morning. Looks like the water's going to stop here. come to an end here. That has a little gravity, it might be running a little further. Yeah, indeed, the gravity is allowing water to run on this side. And at noon, the day after the rains, we're still getting significant flow. What's that, duck? That could be duck. It might have made it to the other pools. Let's go take a look. Though it is clear, the color of the water here at high noon with direct sunlight, we can take a look and see if this is silt or if there's any implication of oils. Standing water here means the gravity of this could be altered rather simply to assist our concept. Now the water is being channeled into a duct, more so even on the other side. And all of this is staying as capture. This is the third year Two years of heavy rains brought these pools to life, deepened them, made them more consistent, and then recently they have been drying up again. There is a question regarding the color of this water to me, and I'd like to test it. That said, we have pretty good flow today. Something large. That could be dogs. Yeah, it looks like dogs. There are a couple of the neighbors that let the dogs run. I know. Because I've seen them. The color of that pool where it's standing, lots of small bubbles, different bubbles. When it hits the rocks, it seems to look clearer. When it's running, it looks clearest. It's pretty clear. I don't see oil per se on the surface of the water. good standing water in the first of the two pools, but again, the color seems to change drastically. Perhaps it is just the depth and the shade of the soil beneath. But this is a good amount of water for just one day's rain. There's a vulture here ahead, so we may find a carcass. They were on the surface, meaning they were a wake is the plural for vultures when they are at a carcass or a feed. So I don't know if two quantifies a wake, but they were right here. Let's see what they were doing. Here they are. This is definitely a wake. Look at these fellas. Now they've become a What's up, vultures? I'm gonna see if I can find what you were eating. Oh, the color of that is just something else. First pool had a significant amount of water. There's no real flow here. So we may be coming to the end of this thunderstorm that has fallen upon us within the last 20 hours or so. The rain, which began last night at 5:23 in the evening, about 20 hours later, this is the last of it. Though it has filled the front pool, and it is still running here in small amounts. Let's see if it got to the back pool. Here near the end cap here, we can spot that using GPS on the map. That's the end. The second pool is not full, but some water. The creek bed. So we've been following the creek bed that leads from the Rocky Point recharge zone to the Leon Creek waterway. The amount of water that's getting there has been reduced drastically by the amount of development that's happened in our area. And since it probably won't rain again much this summer, here on July 15th, 16th, a very good thunderstorm has shown us the line of the creek and given us some impression about what one night, 20 hours or so, not even that many, it was dry by dawn, say 12, 15 hours of rain can do around here. It still has not, however, grown to the state it once was even 10 years ago. Which continues its slow decline. And what was an immense creek bed that you can imagine here, as big as it is there in the front of the Rocky Point recharge zone, the RPRZ, like a fully this wide it could be coming here and going on to connect. And the trash and detritus and possibly even chemical material that it brings every time. It's tough for me to come back here after these things because of the filth and the garbage that's coming down from Days of Alla Road there. You can see all that in the video that's marked from the POV of urbanity. You can see how close all of this nature really is to so much development that has happened only in the last 15 years. The drought year of 2011 was the nadir of the situation. 15 and 16 have been remarkable and have resurrected this ecosystem. However, 17 is already drier. The cycle, I think, is headed toward a very dry 2020, possibly 2019 drought, if the cycles were to hold in that narrow of calculation. That said, we can do better and ought to do better. Yeah, I think this is dogs. This is one of those neighbors' dogs back there. They let a couple of them bound through here. I feel really happy for those dogs when I see them, I gotta say. Just leashless bounding around. That's deer. But here's some good mud. So this was wet not that long ago. Here we go. That's looking like toad is it? 4 maybe? This is the creek bed that leads to Leon Creek waterway from the RPRZ, the Rocky Point Recharge Zone, which is my area of study, and I'm MT Kit. Alright, so a good trip down into the creek bed there, and we're headed out of the woods shortly. Good, consistent water all the way back. Filthy all the way back. The second pool was not full, but where it had been bone dry and the first looked like it was going to go down, there was a surface layer there that the shade from the trees could protect for at least 5 days. The color of the water is so drastically different when it is still in slightly deeper pools, and I don't know if that's because of the soil underneath and I'm just being reactionary to my visual acuity, but it is quite beautiful. These rust-colored rivers must have been all over this area for hundreds, thousands of years after the Ice Age. Cicadas, nice cloud break there. But yeah, the problem is, you can see done a great job of diverting the water so it doesn't affect the businesses. Done a terrible job of diverting the water so it helps nature. And nature suffers pretty badly back here in the woods behind the RPRZ, the Rocky Point Recharge Zone. You can see how high the water got by where the trash deposit is. So last night the banks of this thing could have been all the way up to here. And then as it came down, it drops trash all the way down into the recharge area, making it functionally a landfill, really. And this isn't even a landfill. It's just trash on the ground. There's no digging involved, there's no burial involved, there's no leaching involved, there's no protection whatsoever for where we have channeled all of this water and garbage. It has just been a quick and dirty non-solution. Which today has water running in it, which makes us happy. At least for the water. Fun going in the woods, very different back there than out here in the open. I don't see much rain. But the rumor is some of this should coalesce by the afternoon.